Meet Mercedes Pepper.
I know my parents chose a very good name for me, definitely.
She's the founder of Nation Botanics.
I am a multifaceted, passionate entrepreneur, but particularly I help people who get outdoors get healthy skin, but just with 2 bottles without the fuss or a complicated skincare routine.
A skincare brand rooted in sustainability, designed for faces exposed in the elements.
I wanted something that was an all-in-one, essentially like a multivitamin for your skin that could do everything.
Her products are stunning. Her mission is bold, but her messaging, confusing, technical, and too easy to scroll by. Imagine having you on camera to say, look, this is BS, this is BS, this is BS. Let me tell you what this 1% actually really means. Mercedes came on the show hoping for some direction. What she got instead was reckoning. Make them feel the pain of their choice in a way that is fun, relatable, and not like a parent like lecturing their kid. I'm Talyn Rahman-Figueroa, your diplomat turned personal brand expert, and I give small business owners boss level insight to show them where the brand is leaking power and what it really takes to scale. You're going to have 3 different types of audience: low budget, mid budget, high budget. You want to be able to capture them all. Can I help Mercedes stop talking like a label and start showing up as a category leader? I want you to be bold, 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 bold. If you're someone who swears and all of that, use it to your advantage. Let's meet Mercedes Pepper. So before we meet Mercedes, I asked her a few basic questions about her business so I can get a sense of where she is right now and what she's done so far for her business brand. Let's take a look. Okay, so when I asked her, what is your business all about and who do you serve? Mercedes says, I help people who get outside in the harsh elements, particularly skiers, snowboarders, and surfers, get healthy, good-looking skin without the fuss. Okay, so that sounds pretty straightforward. It sounds like she has a niche. Skiers, snowboarders, and surfers. That is a very niche environment to be in, but I can also assume that there are still going to be heavy competition for other skincare company targeting this particular audience, and that's going to keep her small and fighting for a portion of that market. Let's see if I can help her expand that market just a little bit without only going after this sporting category. Now, when I asked her, what are your main goals for your business right now? She said, sales and brand recognition. That's it. Simple as that. Sales and brand recognition. Good thing she's come on the Fairy BOSSmother Show, because it sounds like because she's not getting recognized in her category. I mean, skincare is a very demanding and a very saturated marketplace. She's going to be fighting tooth and nail to get anyone's attention, especially if she has a very specific niche in place. I need to see how she's actually talking about her business and whether it's just like going over people's heads or if she's only talking about sustainability. Okay, so when I asked her, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? She simply said, reaching new customers. I mean, I think we just nailed it right now. She's not being recognized. She's not being seen. Her products are not going to the right people. And as a result, she's having a dip in sales or she's not selling enough of those products. I am so curious to see what her products actually look like in terms of her packaging, what she's saying about the products, whether she's actually talking about problems, because she's already mentioned her products help people get outside in harsh elements. What does that even mean? We'll find out. Last but not least, I asked her, have you done any work on your personal brand? She says no. Okay, looks like I have my work cut out for me with this one. Let's meet Mercedes Pepper. Welcome, Mercedes, to the Fairy BOSSmother Show. I'm so excited to have you.
Wonderful.
I gotta say, Mercedes, you have the coolest name. It's Mercedes Pepper. Like, how about a zinger, you know?
I know my parents chose a very good name for me, definitely.
Yeah, it's super unique. And one of the things I'm going to be really interested to see, Mercedes, is how unique is your name and how can we maximize that to your advantage in your business as well?
Oh, that is a great question. I don't think I have maximized it to my advantage. However, I have noticed in previous interviews in the past, people spot out like, hey, we saw your name and we're like, we had to read your resume.
Yeah, we got to use that to our advantage. Well, before we get started, Mercedes, the question that I ask always is, Do you today want the full-on Fairy BOSSmother, so no sugarcoating, no filter, hard truth, or do you want me to go slightly easier with the kitty gloves?
Well, I wouldn't have said yes to this if I didn't want the full fairy boss mother.
Okay, I love that answer. All right, I'm going to give you the hard mode. So,
All
no
right, go.
filter on me today. Okay, so Mercedes, who are you and what do you do?
I am a multifaceted, passionate entrepreneur, but particularly I help people who get outdoors get healthy skin, but just with two bottles without the fuss or a complicated skincare routine. And what I'm really passionate about is minimalist skincare that's kind of built for the elements, as well as from my previous work in international development, building in elements of transparency, sustainability, and true impact that you can measure, as well as a little bit of like native plants and just transparency and sourcing. So
Okay,
those
that
are
was
kind of the three boxes I'm passionate about right now.
okay. You mentioned your three boxes. What are the three boxes?
So it's basically a minimalist skincare built for the elements, creating a simplified skincare system rather than so many different bottles and all these different steps and just the chaos and overwhelm that the skincare industry tries to sell you. And then also having building in about transparency and sustainability and impact. That's the world that the background that I come from. And then the third one was more on harnessing the power and celebrating native plants and their benefits.
Okay, so you're talking about the values of your companies. I was literally thinking the boxes of your products.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, those are kind of the more values of my company. But then another element of why I'm here is I also have a deep passion from my background in over 15 years in international development work, focusing on job creation and energy access and labor mobility. So that's another passion of mine outside of my business that I own.
Okay, and what else do you do? You might as well tell me everything.
Okay, I also ski patrol and I do some marketing for a ski resort. And yeah, I always have my hands in something.
So, when you say minimalist skincare, are we talking about toner, moisturizer, sunscreen? Like, what specifically are you talking about with regards to that?
So in terms of the products that you put on after you wash your face. So it's
What
outside
does, yeah.
of a face wash or a sunscreen. But the toners, the toners, the cleanser, the serums, the eye creams, like the face mask, everything they sell you. And when you go into a store, it's like, oh, here are these 8 products that you need to put on. And you leave this one on for 5 minutes before you then add this one. And it's just overwhelming and complicated. And the average person is just, they like get consumer paralysis where they then don't buy any skincare because they're like, well, I have no idea what to use. And then if I go in and talk to an actual store or someone, then they're trying to sell me all these things. And so it's simplifying it in when I learned how to formulate, I'm a self-learned cosmetic chemist and formulator myself. From not being able to, and it's another story of how I got there, but you can build a product that is multi-targeting and multitasking as long as you're super intentional with the ingredients that you put in it, how you formulate it, and how it can work. And so I saw a need for there wasn't a product that's multi-targeting, and I wanted something that was an all-in-one, essentially like a multivitamin for your skin that could do everything. So you didn't need those 8 products and those eye serums and the toners and and all the different layers and a long skincare routine. It was like, give me 2 things I can apply in like less than a minute and I'm good to go.
Wait. Is this an all-in-one product that removes all of those 8 products? So you have one
Yes.
product that does everything?
Yes. So, and you can
Okay.
adjust it based off what your skin needs based off the climate. So it works in super dry, cold, high altitude skiing environments, but
Mhm.
I've also designed it to work in tropical, humid, hot environments. So it's designed to 94% of the ingredients help combat your skin after UV exposure and rays. And it's so truly designed for people who are outside in the elements,
Yeah.
and much skincare isn't, but there also isn't skincare that adjusts for the different climates you're in. And
Mhm.
so because it's like, oh, wait, they're trying to now sell seasonal skincare. You need this routine for the winter. You need this routine for the summer. And for some people who have very finicky skin, like that might work for them. And if they want that, and if anyone wants like a 10-step routine, by all means, go for it. More power to you. You're going to have phenomenal skin. But the average person is like, that's overwhelming. I just want to like do it in 10 seconds. And I want something that will work all year round and I can easily travel with. So that's what I created because I couldn't find that. And my skin was a hot mess before because I was always traveling and I surf and I ski and I'm always outside in the sun. So
It just sounds like you've just got a magic formula right there,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I think
It's a bottle with magic that can do absolutely everything and protects you from all of the elements, the harsh winds that we've been experiencing, the harsh colds, the extreme heat. I mean, if especially in the United States, there's so many different climates in, each state alone in one country, right? And
Exactly.
that's beyond just people who go out skiing, snowboarding, because that's a very small niche.
Yeah.
So, what are the problems that you are experiencing then with your business at the moment?
Because I'm small and I'm a solo female entrepreneur who's bootstrapped, it's really reaching new customers. So getting my messaging out, and I've had a few mentors, and I'm noticed that I think I see where you might be going with this is saying that my niche of just skiers and surfers is too niche and I need to expand it because it is a product that does work for everybody and
Right.
every skin type. And so, but the challenge is really essentially acquiring new customers. But the customers that I do have and the repeat customers that I do have, everyone has loved it. I haven't had any negative feedback, which is just so wonderful because you truly can. It works and it's
Yeah.
hard to find scare the worst. And then it is adaptive where you can adjust. So it's 2 bottles, not to get too into the weeds here on the product, but
Yeah.
it is 2 bottles. So you can adjust the amount of more of one or the other based off what your skin needs that day, month, or season. And
Mm-hmm.
why it's 2 bottles is also it doesn't have any fillers or excess preservatives from a formulation standpoint, as well as the fact that you're essentially just getting pure plant power and those actives.
Mm-hmm.
But the ability for them to be separate is you're essentially getting pure moisture and pure hydration.
Yeah.
And moisture and hydration actually mean different things for your skin. And those are the 2 things your skin needs to be healthy. Obviously, there's other like nutrients and elements that you need, but by distilling them down into their purest forms, you get like 100% of each in each bottle. And then you can adjust based off what you need. Whereas a cream, like a night cream,
Mm-hmm.
that has a lot more of the moisturizing component and very little of the hydrating component as it's very thick.
Yeah.
Or if you get a serum, it's the reverse ratio.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the hydration component and very little of the moisturizing component.
Yeah,
So the two
definitely.
bottles you can customize to whatever ratio you want or your skin needs.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of explaining about what goes into the products.
Yeah.
Can we just,
Yep.
saying it out loud, looking at your skin right now, Mercedes, come closer to the camera. Your skin is glowing. Like your
Thank
skin is beautiful. So I think I should just say the product works for itself just by looking at you. If you're using your own product, you are definitely the ambassador for your own product. Just with how you're showing up today, the fact that you know your product really, really well is very, very clear on that. But being able to translate that in a way that the average consumer understands without you having to
Get in
over
the weeds.
explain the benefits and talk about how, in the science world, we do this and you need this much and this much and this much. The average person really doesn't care. They know that the skin sucks or it's too flaky or when your skin's dry in the winter and your skin gets oily in the summer or something, and there's a lack of balance, like you say. And your product is the balance to each of those seasons, the most harshest seasons. And then the result is look at the glow effect that you can get by using one product and eliminating all of the others. So I'm really curious to know when we look at your website, how you talk about your product, whether it's like a whoosh factor for your clients and going, I'm not a skier or a snowboarder. I don't do any of that stuff. I sit at home. I'm on my butt. I don't do anything. Once in a while, I like going out, and that's about it. But yes, I have those 8 products, and it's costing me $200 plus. And then I don't even know if they're working for me because I have to now figure out, oh, maybe this serum and this moisturizer might be good, but it's not a good fit. And it's like you have to do some sort of like rocket science in your head.
Yeah. And then the time you're just tired at the end of the day and you're like, oh, the
Just
thought of
slap it on.
being on multiple products, they're like, I don't even want to brush my teeth. I just want to go to bed. So
Yeah.
people, yeah. But
So
well,
how long have you been in business? When did you create Nation Botanics?
so this idea came to me in 2015, actually. And it was I was working in my previous role in international development. And I was like, well, I have a good job. I'm making good money. Like, this is what I went to grad school for. Why am I going to go and join the skincare industry? I'm not a skincare person,
Yeah.
but I had this bigger view of how a company could be transparent, how they could do good, how they could create a good product that was different and unlike anything on the market. And so I started looking into the skincare industry, and that's when I was like, this is atrocious. Like, there's no transparency. They're creating these products that just maximize profit rather than help people's skin. And also all these elements that I kind of dove into, I was just infuriated. And I was like, this has got to be different. So I sat on it, had some life experience. And then in 2019, I ended up leaving to do
Mhm.
this because I was like, you know what? You're young. Like, a few things have happened in your life. If you don't go and take this leap and try this business, you're always going to have wondered. And you can always go back to this world that you you are in right now if you need to. So take the leap, do it. And that's when I dove in 2019. And then I researched more and I thought, coming from just being a perfectionist, but also wanting this product to be the best, I thought I needed to work with a lab and an actual formulator in order to make this. However, after talking to over 50 manufacturers and labs, and all of them telling me, oh, just black label it. We can just throw your label on this formula. And like we can change a few ingredients. I'm like, no, I don't want that. Like, I want to create something that's truly innovative. And I want something that utilizes plants that are native to North America and also sources from farmers here and also works for your skin. Like, I just don't want everything else that's on the market. And so after getting no's of like, and you can't be transparent, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn how to formulate myself. So then that's when I dove in to learn how to make everything under the sun and perfected this formula after multiple iterations. And that's what I've been using for since I was in my early 30s and now I'm 38. So yeah, I only have used my product.
2019, that's where you decided, right, screw this, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to build my own product. The transparency issue is huge, especially in the United States. And with your background in development, that brings a lot of insight to, I guess, the dark side of what goes in the development world. I know this as a trained diplomat. There's a lot of things that people do not see. People think they know everything because the internet is an open source, but the things that people want you to see are the things that people advertise and pay other people to get in front of the news. So what brought you to the Fairy BOSSmother Show now?
Helping with my branding, helping my branding message as a founder, but also as a business to help stand out amongst all of the noise in the beauty industry, because essentially every beauty company is backed by investors and lots of money. Because you're right, the beauty industry is so saturated. It's such a hard market to break into. And now I'm like, why did I choose this avenue? But I have this big vision that actually does what the skincare industry is now trying to do. They're saying, oh, we're traceable. And so like some companies are creating that transparency element in to the extent that I've done, no. Or they are building in that social impact and that give back. But what infuriates me, having come from a background in impact measurement and evaluation too, is when you look at and you try to get more information, there's no information. You're like, oh, that one ingredient that's probably less than 1%, you're saying like is from a local women's cooperative, which is wonderful. I'm not dissing that. But your marketing is like the entire product, 100% of it is, when you're only using 1%. This is such bullshit. So
yeah. Everything you're saying is gold content to promote your product.
Yeah.
The things that you're talking about, Mercedes, have you talked about it on camera?
Not yet. I'm about to.
Okay.
So.
Oh my God, we got to lean into that so hard. Because you being in the background that you have, the product that you have, your product works, you believe in it. You don't need a transparency label to say that my product is good for you, because half the people don't even know what that means. They don't know how to read those labels. And like you said, it could just be 1% of a very small ingredient that they're like really hyping up. So imagine having you on camera to say, look, this is BS, this is BS, this is BS. Let me tell you what this 1% actually really means.
So right.
If like,
so right.
like if you were to call out those really big names and go through the ingredients, you talking about your competitors is actually your advantage. Because like you said, Mercedes, you are in a really, really saturated market, but let's turn it into a positive. You're in a saturated market, which means there is huge demand for your product. People just don't know your product because you haven't positioned it well. And now when you do an A to B testing with another product, Nivea, let's use Nivea as an example, right? Nivea Sun Care, you can use any of their products as an A to B. Try their toner, try their moisturizer, try their cleanser, try their millions of sunscreen. Do an A to B with Nation Botanics. Talk about all of the ingredients that go into that product and what goes into your product and why this is harmful for your skin for the long run. Because when you start to call them out, you're using their brand name to your advantage. You're also then talking about your product in a very inadvertent way. And you are showing off your expertise that you really know the grains of what makes a product good, what makes a product bad, and why these products that are in the mainstream are actually super harmful for your body.
And they just have a ton of cheap ingredients. but yet they're marketing them. And some luxury products are marketed as such. Yet you look at the ingredient deck and I'm like, this stuff is super cheap to make, but yet you're charging $240. This is not astronomical.
And
So
and the thing is, Mercedes, you don't have a shortage of products that you can call out because there's hundreds of them, there's thousands of them. So you can go for a cheap product. You can even call out an expensive product. And everything that you're doing is free content marketing that you don't have to pay for, number one. This is knowledge that's based on your life experiences, number two. And number three, you know exactly what goes into these ingredients because you know what that actually means as an average consumer yourself.
my concern, or not concern, and I'm not saying no, I'm going to do it, but is just, I guess this is the hesitation of not attacking, but calling out another company that has a huge budget. And so if I do say anything, I'd have to be very careful what I say so it's not inaccurate in any way, shape, or form. And that would just be making sure my word choice, because I don't want them to be able to come after me essentially. But maybe that's an insignificant fear and it's not going to happen because they're like, whatever, we're a huge company. This is a small business. We're not going to go down that road. But another thing just to point out, that when you mentioned earlier about getting in front of the camera, that's what I want to do. And I've been shy to do just because I'm not a type of person who likes to be behind the camera or in the center of attention. And so even starting this business and having to be the brand founder, and when we do dive into my website, you'll see that having to put myself out there is just like, oh God, no, I just want to be like behind the scenes.
Well, Mercedes, congratulations, because I'm promoting you as content creator now, because the minute you start a business, creating content for your business becomes the norm. That is part of your job description. Just like sales is now part of your job description. So marketing and sales become the biggest thing. That should be like 90% of your business. That 10% is acquisition of your clients and getting more. And you cannot sustain a business without really good marketing that's directly coming from you or your business.
Precisely.
And do not outsource this, because one of the things as being the founder of your company, Mercedes, is you have so much power to turn people's opinions around, and it's going to take time. This is not going to be something that's going to blow you up overnight. You do need to be consistent at it. But the other thing about being scared about calling names out is you don't actually have to name out those companies. You can literally just have Nivea's bottle and you can just turn it around. You're not calling them out. You're not naming names.
Or blur out if any of their logos are there, but people will see.
People know what it is. So you could just kind of like, yeah, you could blur it and say, I'm not naming names, wink, wink, because it's obvious what you're trying to do. You're turning the bottle around saying, hey, can you even read what this says? It's blah, 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 blah. This is what it does. And this is the first ingredient, which means this is the biggest, percentage. I don't know, like skincare stuff. But when it's at the beginning of the ingredients list, that's the biggest thing that's in that product. And you're putting it in your face. You wouldn't eat KFC every day. So why would you put this in your face every day? Like, it's that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. But what you're offering is an alternative expert view on why you started this business. That's really what you're doing, Mercedes, is, look, I came from this development world. I'm still in it. And I created this because I was tired of putting all this junk on my face. And also, let me tell you what else I do when I'm not doing this. And then you can show really cool pictures of, videos of you snowboarding and skiing and all the cool outdoor sports that you do. And none of the products that you tried met your expectations. Boom, here's my product.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah. So put yourself in your own shoes, Mercedes. Talk about your experiences, because your experiences is going to be different from others, but similar enough that it's going to be relatable, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course, it's completely relatable.
And you mentioned that you had some skincare too. Talk about it. Talk about how long you were suffering through that, what you tried in the past, who you went to see, what experts you talked to, and how you're just like, this was my done moment. The minute you talk about your I'm done moment, I'm so tired of this, this is my catalyst, that's what people love to hear about.
Yeah, it was actually Heathrow was my done moment. I was, so I went in certain dermatologist. Well, I didn't actually ever go to a dermatologist to get help, but I would go into a few different skincare in my early 30s. I was like, I should start taking care of my skin. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go into a Sephora and I'm gonna find out like what's clean. But then and they sold me on all these different products because before that I was online trying to find like actual sustainable ones that would work, do it all. Anyways, I bought like 10 products and I was traveling a lot for work and I was on my way to the Global Philanthropy Forum in South Africa. And I forgot that I had a connecting flight. And well, I knew I had a connecting flight in Heathrow, but I forgot about their 1 liter rule.
Mm.
And so I had all my new skincare products. I'm like, okay, I'm going. I would only take carry-on when I would travel for business. And in Heathrow, they're like, this isn't under 1 liter. And so they took like half of it. And I was like, this is absurd.
It's such a
Like,
waste of money.
yeah. And I wasn't even really using it because at the end of the day, I was working so much. I was so tired. And I was like, I'm not going to do these like multiple steps. Like, I'll just put one of them on.
Yeah.
I can do, I might have the bearing capacity for one. But yeah. So after they took all majority of the products, I was sitting on that flight to the conference just and they were like, there's got to be a different way. Like, why isn't there one product that has all of those benefits in one? And that's when I further had this idea for this of like, okay, let's build in these other elements. But this is absurd that we're being sold to believe that you need to have 8 products in order to have beautiful, radiant, all the buzzword bullshit skin
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they try to sell you and they feed off your insecurities, the beauty industry.
Yeah.
So
And all of that is content, everything you just
yeah,
said. Everything you just said. So yeah, you got a lot of work to do just
yeah.
sitting down and like uncap all of the things that's in your head. Let's go on your website. I'm curious to know what you actually say about your business. All right. So
I'm curious to get your feedback too. I felt like, oh, this doesn't match what I thought I was going to see. Uh,
let's have a look. Okay. So Nation Botanics. Okay. First impressions, Mercedes.
yeah.
It's a little dull.
Okay.
Dull. It's a little dull because I'm not really seeing what am I looking at? I'm looking at big ocean. I know you're trying to go for the hey, surfer outdoor kind of thing, but I don't even know what you sell at this point. I want to see a product right there. And in fact, I would love to see a picture of you with your product, just kind of like doing your face, even if it's really like exaggerated. So your hair and your face looks nice, but like you're basically like slathering on your product.
Yeah.
Or like just squeezing that bottle and really showing off the product. And then you can talk about, the benefits of your skincare, of how drop the 8 products that you have in your closet. You only need one for life or something like that, with a call to action to go check out your products. Because right now, your hero page is not telling me what you do, other than I have to read this. I haven't even read this and I'm already like talking about, what do you sell, Mercedes? What do you sell? So I'm going to see that first. I love the design of your product. It's very unique. I do love the colors. And yeah, this is really cool. It's very sleek, very minimalist. I do like that. It feels very you. But I can see that you are going for a very specific niche. And because you're in the skincare industry and you just talked about how your product does the job of like 8 products, that is the biggest selling point right there. It's multi-climate. I think we should drop the multi-climate. It's multi-skincare. It's one skincare that does everything. And the bonus is that it's multi-climate. This works in winter just as well as it works in summer. So I think that would be a secondary benefit to what it is that you do. Now, I absolutely dig this. So are these your customers?
Yes. These are people that have tried my product and used it and created a video for me, thankfully.
That's awesome. I would love to see a bigger version of that rather than having a little panel.
Okay.
Because when I first saw your website, I thought this was your Instagram panel, just showing off what you're doing on Instagram. I didn't realize these are client reviews, and you didn't even mention how this is what our customers are saying about this product, or our customers love this product. So I actually didn't know these are your customers until I just asked you right now.
Yeah. Okay. That's a valid point.
Yeah. And then as seen in, girl, hype this up. That needs to be up top. So under your hero page, right here, under your hero page, this is where your as seen in should be bold, 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 because that shows social proof that other people are also talking about your products. So do not hide that. Okay. And I think we need to, I know right now you are talking about the skiers and the snowboarders, but like I said, it's a very niche target audience.
Yeah.
So why don't we redirect it to a slightly broader market? And I think women is a really good one, because women typically have the 8 products rather than men. Men typically don't have a lot of products that they use. They are the ones that are going to be using one product. So you can have 2 different marketing campaigns. one specifically for women who have 8 products and they want to divorce from those products. And then the men who have chosen one product, but they know it's rubbish because they don't know what else is good. So you are basically telling them, hey, swap that rubbish product for this one good product. And that way you are catering for both genders, because skin is skin. Men and women have the same skin. And then when it comes to talking about why your product is different in terms of sustainability, transparency, the fact that you use very clean ingredients, those are, again, going to be secondary benefits to this. I think in terms of the SEO, the keywords that you use, it's really important that you do talk about sustainability. You do talk about these. This is a clean, green product. That needs to go up top because that's a selling point. But you don't want to keep overstating that because, again, the average person wants to know, will this actually work for me? And how expensive is it? Because clean, green products typically are expensive. And I don't know why plant-based products is any better than the synthetic ones that are made in the market.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, this is perfect. This is great. Up top. I would use that up top.
Well, it's so hard to just choose. I want to put everything up top.
Yeah. So layer it, girl. Layer it. So you've got your hero page, a scene in, then a close-up of your product and why your product is different. Your product is a cleanser. No, it's not a cleanser, is it? It's a toner, serum, eye mask, moisturizer, night cream, day cream combo.
Yes.
That is what you talk about in detail, right? Plus, it's all of these things. It's synthetic free, brief and safe free. Oh, by the way, it's a sunscreen too, for both like winter and summer, 100% clean. So all of this is great. And I don't think you need to like overstate what these mean. And now I'm thinking, okay, Mercedes, where are you? Oh, you're right at the bottom of the page. I want to see that slightly higher up as well. This is why I made this product for you. Talk about your story. Talk about how you had the skin issues. Your Heathrow story is really great, actually. It's super relatable. You went into an airport, you forgot your product, you didn't want to buy 8 different products, you bought this one product, it was taken away from you, and then you ended up with nothing, and it was a waste of money, and it didn't even do anything for your skin.
Yeah, I have a little bit more of that when you go to the About Me page, because I was trying to keep it short on here. But
yeah, so yeah, this is just looking at your homepage. Now, is there anything that I said that made you go, oh, I don't know what to do about this?
I think it's one, how I can move, because I want everything up top, but it was terms of just the organizing. I was trying to prioritize. So I guess making sure some of those things are higher up. And then the marketing campaign for the men and the women is a little bit separate than what's going to be on that homepage. But maybe making sure when I rework some of that copy in how it replaces 8 benefits in that section, make sure that I'm still talking to the men and the women, for the men who don't know what to use. I guess my only, not pushback or not hesitation is changing it from making it broader to more people. So I am trying to do that in saying how it's kind of it is for the extremes of surf and slope and everything in between. But I think I might be able to do some of that with some of the finessing of changing the words, but also with the images, because right now they're very surf and ski specific.
Yeah. So the images, I think that just changing out the images is going to make a really big difference to being slightly broader. You can still market to the skiers and the slopers. That's absolutely fine. And in fact, I think you should. And there should be a dedicated page to people who are in the harsh elements and why your product is number one in tackling all of those elements. Because when it comes to advertising in the future, Mercedes, that could be the landing page for them.
Yeah.
But your whole website shouldn't cater just to that niche audience.
Yeah. There's more information on the 8 benefits and all the other unique things about the product on the actual product page. So I went more into detail there.
And that's great.
That was the hardest defining too of building this is I'm not a website that has multiple products. I have 2. I have a mini version of my hero or my flagship product, but it's the same formula. So it was like, I wanted to put everything on the product page, on the homepage, but then I was like, but I can't have them the duplicative. So then, yeah.
Well, the purpose of the homepage is I want to know exactly what this is, why I need it, and why I should care.
Yeah.
If you're able to answer those three questions, then your audience will be a little bit more curious to know, I guess, what goes under the hood of this product, like why this product, and be able to dig a little bit more deeper. And then you can start to explain, well, the botanical powers of my product and why this product is like far superior than any of the competitors when it comes to really harsh climatic weather.
Yeah. But
So that's where you can go into slightly more detail about that.
Yeah, and it also has natural retinol and hyaluronic acid, and all the other popular skincare ingredients that people are buying in these things. Like there's a vitamin C alternative in there that is better than vitamin C because vitamin C is not really stable in a lot of products. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, your website shouldn't be the main marketing piece. It's the final destination for your customers to go in before they click buy. So your website isn't going to be the thing that's pulling in your customers. It really is every other marketing you do outside of your website. So having said that, Mercedes, I'm going to jump on Google. I want to see what Google has to say about not your product, but you. Have you Googled yourself before?
Yes.
Okay.
Not recently though. So we'll see what comes up.
What do you expect me to find?
Nation Botanics, my LinkedIn page, probably my Instagram. Luckily there's only one other person with my name, so there's very few results that come up.
Okay. Right, let's take a look.
There's some peppers, some actual peppers you can eat that pop up.
So you're in competition with actual plants. Mercedes. It's pepper, not peppers, right?
Oh, yeah, just
you're one pepper.
Pepper.
Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. Okay, so that's you so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And then I get the Center for Global Development. So is this your current job or previous?
That's where I used to work.
Used to work?
They clearly have really good SEO. So
all right. So you don't work there anymore. And then your LinkedIn shows up. That's definitely you. And then, okay, so your Instagram is showing up at Nation Botanics. This account is private.
That's my personal account.
Oh, so that is showing up over your Nation Botanics.
I don't have my name on my Nation Botanics account. I probably should put my name in there, I guess.
I'm curious to know. So if the Mercedes Pepper Instagram page is set to private, but you're talking about Nation Botanics, why did you set it to private?
I just set it to private because I don't really do social media myself. And I have a few select people on there. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, and I don't really use it much. But I did put that in my bio.
Yeah, because anyone who just by looking at your name, if this comes up, then it really does block people from getting to know you further. So it might be better that you don't talk about Nation Botanics in your personal account, but talk about it more in your business account, which I'm going to look into in a second.
Yeah, no, good point.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the images. Okay, there's your competition. The red pepper.
Yep, the peppers and the Mercedes Sprinter vans.
Oh, yeah. Not bad, not bad. Okay, but there isn't a lot of information that comes out when I search for you other than your LinkedIn and one, I guess, press media you did, plus your old job. Are you surprised by this?
A little bit. You would think my website would come up at some point.
Right. Exactly. Your website actually hasn't even shown up.
Or even my YouTube. I guess that my name isn't on the Nation Botanics YouTube or the Nation Botanics other elements as much.
Yep. I'm on page 2 and you're still very much in competition with cars and plants.
I mean, those are some big competitors there though.
Yeah. Okay. So Mercedes, the good news is you don't have a lot of competition with your name because clearly there is really no other Mercedes Pepper who does what you do. You don't have competition with your name. And that is one of your biggest advantage right now is to use your name to your advantage so that when people search for you, automatically your product starts showing up, which means that doing more press and media will be definitely to your advantage, but doing more content marketing just in your own business, automatically you're going to start to rank with your own content.
And when you mean more content marketing in my business, can you clarify like blog posts on my website or more of the video YouTube shorts about these 8 products and my product, and then making sure my name, Mercedes Pepper, is in those descriptions of them?
I would say all of the above. Okay, going back to your website, So I don't typically go through all of these pages, but even your blog is very hidden. And if I was to click on a blog, yeah, your name for some reason is not being tagged into your blog. So none of these are showing up. So it might be good that maybe we can add Mercedes Pepper into the URL so that way you are more searchable, more foundable, because Nation Botanics automatically is part of the URL link, but it's not showing up. Your website is not even showing up. So something in your website is not working when it comes to like searchability.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to jump onto your Instagram now. Now, before I do, how often do you post on Instagram?
Not that often. I'm overdue for a post. I am guilty of that.
How overdue is overdue?
Well, I think like a few weeks, like
Okay.
2 weeks maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. I do have some coming up in the future. I've been my 2 winter jobs, so I have 4 jobs right now. I'm in the winter. So that their social media has been taking priority right now in the winter. And I've been waiting because I did create a 40-minute video going into the details of like why I created my product and each ingredient. And that's what I was supposed to post like 2 weeks ago, but I had some tech issues editing and getting it all perfect. But that's what's going to go up on YouTube soon. And then I'm going to do shorts from it and put a lot of that on there.
Okay. Okay. Well, you mentioned the word perfect. Good enough is better than perfect. So what you want to do with Instagram, in even with your bloggings, any sort of content, quantity over quality is the thing that works the most, because you can try to get the most perfect reel out, and it could be a really, really good reel, but you've just spent a lot of time just doing one, right? Instead of just getting it out every day, getting your message out, getting your face out, because the more comfortable you get on camera, the more you're going to naturally create. And if you're really already hesitant to be on camera and start talking about, how Nivea's product is really rubbish and blah, blah, blah. You need to get out of your comfort zone.
I hear you. It was a tech thing where then I had to be dealing with them in support. So, but yes, agreed. And that's why it's getting out ASAP now.
Awesome. Can you get one out today?
Not today because I have some other things on my list, but it's coming out tomorrow or the next day.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you one task that I want you to get done today, and I'll show you that at the end. Let's hop onto @Nation Botanics. So here we are. Okay, so you have 130 posts, you have 2,766 followers, which is pretty good. So the first thing I would recommend that you change or kind of like alter just a bit is actually adding your name in the title. So it would say Nation Botanics by Mercedes Pepper, and then a little dash or a little line saying one product that does it all. I think that's quite important. And then you, in your bio, I think let's drop the whole surf slope skin thing and talk about how you'll talk more about this one product is a toner, serum, eye mask, all of that combined. You only need one product to do everything, whether it's summer or winter. And that way the benefits are right there. And then if you have some sort of kind of like social review that you can mention, loved by, I don't know, 1,000+ like customers in the US, add something like that to it. Plant powered, loved by Earth or something would be great.
Plant powered what?
Plant powered and loved by Earth.
Okay.
I think that would be a good selling point. Curious to know where your Bitly goes to. Let's see. All right, your website, and then your website again. And then what's the join community now?
That's to join the list.
And what does the list do?
That's my email list.
And what does your email list do?
In theory, should be sending educational content every 2 weeks.
Okay. And in practice, what does it do?
In practice, you do get educational content, but it's been a little bit more sporadic, like once a month. And then if there are any promos or things or sales, that's when I'll send them.
Okay. Why did you decide to focus on educational content rather than sales?
Great question. It does a little bit of both, that list, but the educational content in the sense to help create more customer loyalty, as well as why they should be on there, because we are inundated with sales emails all the time. And so if there is more informative or fun or different, a newsletter that they'll want to open up rather than just like, oh, this is another sale or another pitch type of thing.
But you sell a product. One of the best things that people love about newsletters.
It's still fun though. It's just not as, but
yeah. Well, one of the missing things when you're just like your email list, just growing your email list is, if you want to try this, but you're hesitant, sign up to my email list and get 30% off or something. Like give them some sort of discount for first time buyer.
And I do.
Yeah, we need to make that super obvious. That is your lead magnet. And then your content, your education piece, do not do that in the email list, because people want to know how this is going to benefit them. And just being an educational thing is not enough. They want to know, all right, who else is this going to be helping? How else can I use this product to my advantage? Oh, you mentioned rosacea.
Mm-hmm.
How did that help your skin issues? What is your relationship with skin problems? Then you can also talk a little bit deeper about how, hey, I do skiing, sloping, and all of that stuff. And this is how I use my products. So you can give a lot more story related content in your emails in a little bit more detail. Or you mentioned YouTube, right? How you've got a long form content coming up. Your email campaign is a really great way to get people in front of that. Don't give away the whole video. Just talk about how, hey, I'm going to talk about how this one product can fix all of these issues in this video. Check it out. So you're basically promoting other content that you have worked so hard on. And the whole purpose of this content is buy my product. Yeah, it's always going to be buy my product, not something else. Buy this product.
Exactly. I do want to update my welcome series and that email thing once I have this video out, and then I want to make some other videos, because I'd rather, people prefer to watch a video than read a newsletter anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, your newsletter is just a quick soundbite, so to speak. It could be something that gives away the ending of the story, but you have to watch the video to learn how you got to that conclusion. So it's a carrot on a stick.
And then there's for the, I know I said join community on there. I should probably change that language to something like sign up for 10% off, because that's my intro offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get your 10% off before you drop money anywhere else.
Yeah.
How much does your product cost right now?
$99.
Okay. So again, that's a big investment for skincare. So one of the things that you could do in your social media is, let's add up what the average person buys and let's mix up the brands and let's do a quick calculation. That's a really fun, educational and humorous content. If you were to just go, hey, it could be a non-talking head video. You can have all of these products. Just go to the store, film yourself, right? $10, $26, $36, $48, add it up, receipt. This is going to cost you $150. My product, which is one product, costs this much. What is an easier choice?
Yeah, I did do that in a few of like one of the welcome emails has that, and I have that stat somewhere else on my website and also. But yeah, it's like the average person, even if you have 4 products in your skincare routine, the average buying those 4 products range anywhere from $40 to $80. If we're just going to be conservative, obviously there's ones that are way cheaper, more expensive, but that's $160 to over $320. So if you're spending that much on 4 products, might as well just get one that replaces those for $99. It's a better deal, and it'll last up to about 2 months. Some people last 3 months.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you're going to have 3 different types of audience: low budget, mid budget, high budget. You want to be able to capture them all, because they're all looking for the same thing, and that's simplicity, something that's going to help their skin, and something that's not going to break their bank, whatever bank they belong to. And I guess in a way you are justifying your product to those 3 types of audiences, but you're doing it in a way that makes sense to them. So if you're going for if one of your reels talks about the low budget consumers, again, they probably don't know what they're buying. They're just buying it because it's readily available. Is cheap, but is cheap actually good? And are you actually harming yourself more than helping? Like if they had skin problems and they don't know that this could potentially be a cause to that problem, you're fixing one of the biggest problems right now. So This is what I call, Mercedes, salt in the wound formula. The salt in the wound formula is, what is the biggest problem that your consumer is facing? I want you to drop that salt into that wound, and I want you to elbow drop it a little bit more and make it hurt a lot. Make them feel the pain of their choice in a way that is fun, relatable, and not like a parent like lecturing their kid.
Yeah, no, I can think of multiple angles for that.
Yeah, there's so much you could do with this. The potential is endless. And I can really see you overriding. I see you as the underdog when it comes to all of these other products, but you have to ride the wave of like getting comfortable talking about how rubbish these products are and how bad it is for you, when in a way that is very relatable and fun, because you don't want to be coming across as someone who is, you know, a little bit nerdy talking about these super serious things, because no one is going to pay attention to you then.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So if money wasn't a factor, Mercedes, what is your big stretch goal? Like if you had all of the customers and all the money in the world, what mark do you want to leave with your product?
I want to help people who aren't classically skincare people get healthy, good skin and feel confident in it, because our face is our number one thing that people see. But give the confidence to the users and people who aren't skincare people who aren't going to buy the multiple products, allow them the ability to get healthy skin. Because many of my customers that I talk to, they're just like, oh, well, I'm bound to have bad skin, or I'm bound to have those wrinkles because I'm always in the sun and I don't take care of it. So fixing that. And then the other mission, which is a little bit bigger and ties back into my do good, is I want to help change the skincare industry for good, to help show that you can be profitable and you can do good and you can be transparent and you can use these ingredients that actually work. And we don't need to follow the status quo of the same ingredients that are being used, everything imported, not quantities that truly show results, all of the things, and trying to sell you 8 products versus just one that works. So it's then also helping to change and influence the skincare industry a bit, ideally.
You're going to basically take on Goliath.
Yeah. It's a big mission. It's a big mission.
How do you plan to do this, Mercedes?
Well, first get my product out there to more people. And then once people start using it, one, they'll realize it's great, then other companies will hopefully be like, oh, we should maybe incorporate some of those elements into our products that we make. Actually, wait, there is a movement of people who want minimalist products and they don't want all of these longer routines. So hopefully by that, other companies will then follow suit. And they are right now in some of the elements, just not in every facet to the extreme that I've done.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take it step by step. So you want to take on Goliath, the skincare company, and you want to create a movement where more people are using minimalist skincare that is actually good for their skin. Now, work backwards. You are here right now. You want to get here. What are the steps you need to get there? Do you have any idea? Because I know I do. I know exactly what your steps are.
I have a sense of what some of my steps are, which is getting out there and being the face of my brand and marketing this more, which I know has been a disadvantage, or I have not done as much, but I'm doing it now, and other elements of that we've kind of talked on the call. But I would love to hear your steps.
Yeah. My one and big step is you don't have a personal brand right now. You don't have a personal brand. You are fighting against literally like the Mercedes and the Peppers on the internet. Your name alone can be the one thing that brings in more attention for what it is that you want to fight for. You have this massive vision, Mercedes, but that vision alone is not going to be created just because you sell more products. It's you going out there consistently talking about the same thing over and over and over again. So when you're creating content, when you're being the face of your business, you're standing up for what you believe in. Even if you're the only person in that audience, you are practicing for a bigger stage now. You have to commit to that practice right now. And that means talking about your story, talking about the problems and the issues that you went through. Forget about the science part, because no one's going to really understand that. If they want to know the geeky science stuff, that's what YouTube is for. You can go really, really deep into why this is important, and the really serious stuff can be designed for YouTube. But when it comes to Instagram, it's short. You have less than 90 seconds to make your point. And some people don't even have 90 seconds. Their attention is like that short. So really, you have 5 seconds, right? You have 5 seconds to go, boom, here's my message. Boom, here's my message. But that message needs to come like this. It needs to be repetition. It needs to be in people's faces. So posting once every few months is definitely not good.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Posting once a week is definitely not good. Posting once a day is the bare minimum when it comes to content creation for founders right now. I know. But with a plan, with a strategy, and with even just 4 hours a month, Mercedes, when you know what your messaging is, and when you position yourself in a way that levels you up, you become a premium product, all of that is easy all of a sudden because you have a bigger picture. And I will show you how to do that in a minute. Right. When I say that to you, how does that make you feel?
The thought of posting on Meta every day just is like deep despair and like a cloud of heavy bricks. Because I don't even do it in my personal life. And it's so hard when you don't see you're in this constant content creation hamster wheel. And yes, that's why I'm starting to these long form content videos to then take snippets from for this purpose. Because you could be posting on social all day and they don't equate to sales per se. Yes, they will over time, and it is more of a longer term strategy. But when you're a solo founder, there's so many other things that can move the needle or seem to move the needle forward or take priority over that.
Yeah, you just need one really good content that you repurpose over and over again. And the good news is you are definitely in a super saturated marketplace, which only means you have a lot of examples that you can recreate yourself. So you don't actually have to start anything from scratch. Nothing you're doing is starting from scratch. In fact, there are companies that have products just like yours. Watch what your competition is doing. Do the same thing as them, but your message will be slightly different from theirs. Yeah.
Their Instagrams are so boring. Some of these other skincare companies, it's just like, oh,
that could be at least. You know what? That could be a non-talking reel. You can recreate that reel where you can start off with one of their reels. It breaks down, the glass shatters. You're just like, oh my God, this is so boring. Why would anyone watch this? That's it. That's a 2-second reel for you. You complaining about how boring this is. Do you know how many eyeballs that would get? Because you're going to get people to go, you know what? You're right. It's such a cliche, so boring. This is how you get people talking because you're basically producing things that people are thinking about. But now you have the audacity to say, do you know what? This is rubbish. I'm going to do this myself because that's literally how your business started. You started your business because you said, I am so tired of these crappy ass products that doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to do it myself. You're doing the same thing with people's contents now. You are not knocking people down, especially companies. Don't think of companies as people. They're not people. They're a massive company. Right. Bring them down. Bring them down, Mercedes.
Yeah, because I will do. There's some other elements I could do with that because the skincare industry has been doing the status quo and what has worked for so long, and they're just doing iteration after iteration of these buzzwords of perfection for your skin, which are completely unachievable for the average person. And their marketing is all about like radiant luxury and all this stuff. But like you watch it and you're just like, yes, you're selling this dream. I get it. And that like works for some people. But at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is bullshit.
Exactly. You got to call out on that bullshit. So, Mercedes, you need to be bolder, a lot more bolder. I'm starting to see that you're true you now. Because I think at the beginning you were a bit reserved. And I think that's what your branding is. Your branding is safe. It's reserved. You're talking to a very small audience right now. You're not talking about the right things in your business. You're talking about all of the things that go into the product. People don't even understand what that means. Talk about how you're going to literally take things out of people's cupboards, throw it in the trash and replace it with this one thing, right? And then over time, you can start saying, tick, 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 this is what my product does. Tick, tick, tick. This is me back when I was this age. I'm now 38 and check me out. Like, I'm a real ass person. I have 4 jobs. I do all of this stuff. I do all of these things. I don't have time to spend money, research on things. I know half these skincare is BS. I created this myself. Look at me. You are living proof of your product, Mercedes.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, got to do all the things.
I know it's overwhelming, but you've got to take it one step at a time.
It'll happen. It'll happen. I just have to build in the time for it. Yeah, because if it's
you've got Goliath here. Mercedes is right here. Let's start building that plan to get you to that and get you to talk more, build up your case, talk about the BS that's out there right now. And be super, super bold and intentional with your words. All right. So I noticed that you're doing a lot of note taking, Mercedes, which is great. We are now wrapping.
I wasn't going to, but I was like, oh, there's some things I just need to jot down. I'm watching this later, but.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're wrapping up now, Mercedes. If you were to describe, what did you experience right now in this very short time with me? And if there was one thing that you learned from the Fairy BOSSmother, what would it be?
One thing that I learned is I need to get out of my comfort zone and I need to market myself. I need to put my face on socials and do these more longer form contents and speak more truly to myself of how I feel and what made me start this company. Because it really was all the bullshit. So I need to do that. And it's like, it was good to have that push because like I've kind of known it in the back of my head, but it's so easy to put other things in front and not get over that. Yeah. So I'm feeling excited, but I would say, but also a little bit overwhelmed of like, oh, but it'll happen, you make time for what's important. So
just be bold. Just one thing that you can do today, Mercedes. Actually, what is the one thing before I prescribe that one thing to you? What is the one thing that you're going to do today?
I'm going to change my bio on Instagram for both my personal one and my business one. And then in other accounts that I have my business one, put my name there and then look back at my blogs because I think I used other tags when I did the SEO because I'm all doing this all myself. So I probably overlooked the SEO thing, which I know I need to get in and figure out how to do that at some point to optimize those, but make sure my name is also on those blogs.
Yeah. Awesome.
Because there's one that does a deep dive into the 8 benefits and how it's not bullshit and what these 8 benefits mean and these 8 different products. And it goes deeper into back up that claim because I don't want to become this. It does 8 benefits. And then there's like nothing to back it up.
Yeah. And that could be repurposed again. Your newsletter has been sitting there for a while. Repurpose those blogs. Hey, a while ago, I talked about these 8 benefits in Nation Botanics. Let me remind you what it is and resend that as a blog. That could be something that you can repurpose as a reel 30 different ways. So there's a lot of content that you've already done. Also, they're all in your head too, right? We need to get them.
And I have a huge Excel sheet of like all these other ideas and things I want to create. I just haven't had the time to do it yet.
I think you just need to reorganize your thoughts. So the first thing that you could do outside of what you shared with me today, Mercedes, is what is the BS stuff that really pissed you off about this industry? Work on that first, because then that way you're going to start to see the real Mercedes come out. And the reason why you started this business and this product, because you know that other people are going to say the same thing as you. Yeah, I want you to be their voice now.
All right, got it.
All right. Mercedes, you had a hard knock today. How do you feel right now?
I feel good. I feel like you could have been harsher on me.
I want you to be bold. If you're someone who swears and all of that, use it to your advantage, right? I want to see the real
sorry, those came out.
Oh, bring it on. I want to see the real you now. I want to see the emotions behind why you started this. If there was anger, there was sadness, there was this, that, and the other. Those are the things that people latch onto the most. And then you can say, right, now that that's out of the way, let's go into something else that's important, right? Your money. People are always worried about their money. You are spending a ridiculous amount of money. Even if this is cheap, you're going to need this product 4 more times this year. That adds to blah, blah, blah. Just start doing basic maths with people. Yeah. Because when you start talking money to them, they're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't even notice it cost me that much. And these people are on food stamps. Like, what are you doing? Like, you talk about development, let's talk about development, but in a way that is like really easy for the average person to understand.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, great ideas. Yeah, I do need to sit down and organize that Excel sheet and organize what I want to stand for as a brand. Well, not as a brand, as my personal brand. And then hone that message in to tie in with my brand.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Mercedes, before we wrap up?
No, just I have a lot of work ahead. And thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and go over all of this. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. Well, it was really awesome to have you on the show. And I want to see your product. I want to see your face everywhere, Mercedes. I want to see your name absolutely everywhere. I want you to beat the Peppers and the Mercedes, and I want to see you up top. So if we can work together potentially, I would love to see you there up top with me.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy BOSSmother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.